And this is another complaint to the FBI. I have discovered who I believe is wiretapping me and who I believe who has established the tunnel. There are 17 different IP addresses in this telephone. One of them is 192.0.2.1. And I allege that is GoDaddy wiretapping me. I allege that it is also a professor from Brigham Young University. And I'm going to show how. They've been tunneling me for 7 years. They've destroyed and attacked my business, my income, and they hack me daily. And this is how I believe they're doing it. They've established a tunnel. I have been getting wiretapped by 192.0.2, 192.0.2.1. It's from Sao Paulo. They've been attacking me through Sao Paulo. Now I've been getting attacked, wiretapped by 192.0.2.1 for 7 years. And here is a screenshot from the summertime where they sent and received about 3 gigs and 1.8 gigs. They burned through my data all the time. This is 192.0.2.1, and it shows that the attack is from Sao Paulo. Now, the child porn that I allege GoDaddy put on my Facebook timeline also came from Sao Paulo. And I did a reverse IP lookup for 192.0.2.1, and it produced DNS labs. And there are several thousand domains at DNS-lab.org. Almost a million, by the way. 192.0.2.1 reverse lookup goes to DNS-lab.org. And DNS-lab.org has these name servers that point to Brigham Young. So I did a reverse lookup of those 2 name servers, starting with e.dns-lab.org, and it produced 4 domains. Now remember, 192.0.2.1 is wiretapping me for 7 years. Now, these 2 domains are on this name server. These rfc0.net and .org. rfc0.org is GoDaddy, but it's redacted. Their registrants redacted. Name servers are redacted. But rfc.net, the other domain, rfc.net, is GoDaddy. And they have those name servers, which were the ones up here, right here, under dnslab.org. Remember, 192.0.2.1 is wiretapping me for 7 years. I did a DNS records check of rfc0.org. rfc0.org, A records, have been GoDaddy for years. For years. Remember, that is a domain that is on the IP address that's wiretapping me. Now, it was changed right about when I caught GoDaddy hacking mask.care, and they changed it for a few months here, and then for the last 2 years, RFC0.org has been on those DNS-lab.org name servers. So the other domains that were on the DNS-lab.org name servers, these two are GoDaddy. Those two are GoDaddy. So let's look at these right here. We'll start with DNS-lab.us. And DNS-lab.us is Casey Deccio, GKG.net. Casey Deccio in Utah. So let's look up Deccio.net. And it goes right here. Deccio.net goes right here to this guy. His name is Casey Deccio. So let's go to DNS-lab.org. And it goes right to Brigham Young's computer science department, which is run by Casey Deccio. And these are his publications. And what is absolutely stunning is that I believe that I am part of his experiment for the last 7 years. We are conducting a measurement study that uses SYN packets and their corresponding SYN ACKs. We're conducting an experiment to learn whether networks are susceptible to reverse spoofing. They're conducting experiments to understand the handling of negative DNS responses. And they say if you have observed anomalous internet traffic associated with our IP or address space, we list below more information on research we're conducting that you might expect to see and how to opt out. They've been doing this to me for 7 years. And here, they're explaining what they're doing, which is absolutely stunning, unbelievable to me. Now, here is a list of his recent publications, Casey Deccio's recent publications, and I've downloaded and have not completely read, but have looked over every one of them. And this first one, Beware of IPs in Sheep's Clothing, in a stunning, unbelievable discovery. Casey Deccio is using in these publications explaining how he's hacking me, I allege. He's using DNS-lab.org, and in this article, Behind Closed Doors, a network tale of spoofing, intrusion, and false DNS security, Casey Deccio, incredibly, is using 192.0.2.1, which is the same IP address that is currently wiretapping me January 17th, 2023. Now, let's talk about beware of IPs in sheep's clothing. Let's look up IHG's A record. the DNS record for ihg.com. And the DNS A records, current A records, are these Akamai A records. And I hit the historical A records, and I just want to point out look how they change. And I'm going to tell you, this is the telltale signs of the hack here. The telltale signs. They change every 3 or 4 days. Now, let's look at beware of sheep's IPs in sheep's clothing. This is the DNS redirect check for ihg.com. Notice, now I ran this report January 8th, 2023. Let's go back. And the current DNS records are these Akamai records, not the ones in Europe. Now look at these right here. Now, they're different. They are different from this DNS authoritative problem report for IHG. Now I have the same. Now, those are not what Security Trails says are IHG's records. IHG's records, A records, are right here. But let's take it a step further. Let's go down to their redirects. And look at, that's what their A record should say up there at the top. That is what Security Trails should have said. But it's not what it says. That's their current DNS records. However, secretly, these A records are being pushed to the same as GoDaddy, the same as Cars.flights, the same as the companies like Priceline and Booking.com, which have the NS1 servers, but they are connected through the index exchange. And so beware of IPs in sheep's clothing by Deccio. And this right here is unbelievable to me. How he could use the same IP address that's wiretapping me, that I have traced back to Brigham Young University and GoDaddy and Deccio. So this guy, Mr. Deccio, his website is pointing there, prgmr.com. So let's look up prgmr.com, and that is Tornado VPS. And Tornado VPS is their tunneling software. It is what I have an Apple product security case number for. This is an example of Tornado VPS's tunnel. And they tunneled right into me. And it's 1,800 pages. What they're doing, they are injecting kernel extensions into my computers and completely retooling the machine down to the kernel. And when it reboots and resets, and you clean it, it will reboot back into this altered kernel state. what they're using to hack me with, this NetBSD. These are the programs they're using to overtake my machines. Here is an example of what is installed with these Tornado VPS Unix files. And they start with the SSH keygen. And in fact, I'll show you what that looks like and how I open these up in the SSH keygen files. I find them in here. This Unix file wants full permission of my computer, which they're at right there. So watch me open. I'm going to hit play. These are files that came in with this Tornado VPS. And they're all Unix files. They're all hacks. You open them up. I mean, it's just awful. It's just really bad. So the Swift files. Swift. But these are malicious files that have altered the kernel of my devices. I mean, I could keep going through here, but and it turns red because they're malicious eventually. So I've taken screenshots of some of these just to be faster, but there's what they look like. And this is intrusion. This is DNS-labs Tornado VPS intrusion. They're changing the kernel of my machines, reconfiguring my printers. They disable every device I have by doing this right here. They either disable it or take it over and then watch me and monitor me, including my phone, which is the 192.0.2.1. I allege they're using the LEASEWEB Network to attack me, similar to the way the United States Justice Department filed an indictment against these 5 Russians attacking U.S. companies with SQL injections and altering the computers using a virtual network. So GoDaddy is using the LEASEWEB Network to attack me with this software program that was installed using Tornado VPS. And it has keyloggers, and they're taking screenshots of my FaceTime conversations. And so that's Spyrix. Spyrix, GoDaddy, and LEASEWEB. Spyrix, the start of authority is GoDaddy. Spyrix.info, domain control servers with LEASEWEB in the background. Spyrix, LEASEWEB. I allege GoDaddy is using the LEASEWEB Network to attack me. Now, let's go back to rfc0.org, and we're going to go to what I believe is evidence that GoDaddy is attaching malware to the DNS of the domain at the registry. This is a DNS report of rfc0.org. And there are the Brigham Young name servers, dns-lab.org. And there is rfc0.org GoDaddy. Refused this DNS check, the red line. But it's attached to these apps at Affiliates. And Affiliates is the registry. And those are apps on the domain rfc0.org. And over here on the right, you have the app from Affiliates, which is identity.digital, and the IP address. Here is mask.care, my domain mask.care. It's being hijacked by Unified Layer, but these are those Affiliates apps that are attached to the domain. Here is app number 7 in suit.style. They're putting apps on my domains that are malicious. Mask.care, back app. This allows them to get into the back of the domain and install their malware. It's quite awful. They've been doing this for 7 years. Now, the app, all of these apps are attached to that name server plus about 6 more. There's A1, B0, B2, B1, .org, .affiliates.net. I'll show you. This is live. This is VRBO, which is a big website. Now, VRBO has the NS1 name servers, and they have those Affiliates name servers, which I allege are using my domains. This is the index exchange. And the index exchange is how they're all connecting. Colluding. There is the A167s, and there is the DNS1, NS1 servers. So the affiliate servers are not on the index exchange. The index exchange. This is where the NS1 servers are, and this is what I believe is GoDaddy that has a stake in the index exchange. This is Kayak. I did not put the green here, by the way. That's the program. So Kayak does not have the affiliates name servers, but it has these same NS1 servers as mask.care used to have. They're all connected at the index exchange. So there's home away. But www.homeaway. And by the way, this used to be on homeaway.com, but they moved it to www1. But they also have the same NS1 name servers as Kayak. And here you will see, I swear to God, affiliates was on here. I can't believe I don't see it. There it is. Good Lord. I'm getting blind. There's how they connect my domains with those apps. This is Fastly. And this used to have the NS1 servers down here. But now it's just Cloudflare. This is fascinating right here. This is absolutely fascinating because it's been changed. So this is Cloudflare, which I allege is Fastly. Fastly has access to everyone because they're the content delivery network. Ultra DNS, NS1, and there is affiliates. And that is how they're getting into my domains. They attack it by putting apps on the domains. And this is Firebase. And Firebase is Doug Stevenson. Firebase is this guy. Firebase Consultant. That's Kayak, by the way. Kayak has the same DNS1, NS1 servers. That was installed. The R9CDN.net. R9CDN.net is right here. When Kayak overtook mask.care, they had the R9CDN.net. That's Fastly and Polyfill. Now, I want to go back to Doug Stevenson's website. In the back end, he has a Twitter card. This is the template for the Firebase software. I allege that this is Kayak's template. Look at what they did to mask.care. Look at Kayak overtaking mask.care. It has Facebook pages, the Twitter card, Kayak's Twitter card. There is Doug Stevenson, GoDaddy's Firebase consultant. He has domain control and no affiliates, but he is a Firebase. He's GoDaddy and Fastly's Firebase consultant. This is a big deal. So I allege that BaseKit, which is GoDaddy, and SiteJam, which I believe is GoDaddy, and here's cars.flights. Now I have it on video because it's just easy this way. But there's cars.flights on the right, which has the tentacles of GoDaddy, Expedia, and Kayak all over. And there's SiteJam, which is BaseKit, which is GoDaddy. Similar to BaseKit, SiteJam. And there's the affiliates. And they're putting apps on my domains so they can get in through the back end. And I believe GoDaddy is using BYU's Casey Deccio